I've been bombarded with all kinds of messages asking me, Chris, what's happening? Yeah, NASA seemed to have postponed the swearing in of Raila Odinga. NASA letting us down. What's going on? You know, and people are really upset. Now, it's only right that we analyze this current development, very, very major development actually, according to me, and try to get to the bottom of it. Now, there are a lot of angry reactions towards Raila Odinga, but the first thing we have noticed here is that we have tried to follow all the handles, or at least most of the handles, making some very abusive comments, negative comments, comments which suggest people have given up. Okay, we try to follow the handles carefully. Okay, and what I can tell you is that not all of them are NASA. Now, get me right, NASA followers are livid, that's given, but it's very interesting that quite a number of those comments are Jubilee propaganda machine. Now, the reason I mentioned that is that this is a very important clue. Okay, why is it an important clue? Because before you get involved in a very coordinated online campaign like that one, yes, because I think you understand the whole idea behind it, yes? The whole idea behind it is to give the impression, what can I call it, the snowball effect, yes? To speed up the backlash against NASA. That's the whole idea. This is high-stakes politics, eh? All kinds of tricks are on the table. Okay, so definitely Jubilee propaganda machine has been very active. Okay, now the reason why that interests me a lot is that for you to organize this kind of campaign takes a bit of time. Okay, now looking at the time lapse between the announcement by NASA and the launch by this Jubilee propaganda machine, it only suggests one thing, that this Jubilee propaganda machine were aware of what was going to happen. Now, hold on to that thought for a minute. We're going to come back to it. Okay? Now, of course, NASA are playing their cards very close to their chests. The excuse given is that since Kalonzo Musyoka is not in the country, the deputy president, the NASA deputy presidential candidate, to be more precise, the whole idea is to wait for him to come back into the country to go ahead with the swearing. That is a general excuse being given. Now, folks, no matter how you love your political party, never forget one thing. We are dealing with politicians. Okay? That is extremely important. We are dealing with politicians. My view as of this moment is that this postponement has to do with other things other than Kalonzo Musyoka being out of the country. Raila Odinga chickening out, as the Jubilee propaganda machine is trying to emphasize? Nope. That one we can comfortably rule out. Okay? And if anybody is convinced that Raila Odinga chickened out of being sworn in, that is a person who, of course, has no understanding at all, does not understand the character of Raila Odinga. What kind of a man he is. So trust me, you can comfortably rule that out. Now, we know there's been a lot of pressure, intense pressure, on both sides of the political divide to sit down and discuss. That one we already know. Number two, we also know that there have been messages, there have been some sort of negotiations already underway, with messengers being sent both sides of the political divide in a desperate effort, to avert disaster in Kenya. We know that NASA has very categorically rejected any suggestions of a nusu mkate government, of a coalition government. That one we know they have already rejected. Now, I know you may be listening to this recording and you're getting very confused. So let me point out something which is very relevant here and very important. We have had a statement from the Jubilee side, actually from President Uhuru Kenyatta, ruling out any kind of negotiations with NASA. Now, this is the oldest trick in the book. If I can take you back to 2007, when negotiations were already underway, through international mediators, with the United States of America taking a pole position on that, we had the government of President Mwai Kibaki still saying that there was no problem in Kenya, that these international negotiators who came had come into the country for a cup of tea. Yeah, there was no negotiations, and PNU at that time was not going to negotiate anything with the ODM. But in reality, yeah, away from the limelight, away from the press, there were very serious negotiations ongoing. And so I can tell you for sure that even as the president issued his statement, there are indeed negotiations already underway. Now, there are various ways of having negotiations. Some of us may have the impression that for negotiation to take place, both parties must sit down on a table. Yeah, nope. Especially when those negotiations are very sensitive, the initial process is that you'd have somebody shuttling back and forth between the two parties. Okay, you go and you talk to party A, they tell you their stand. Okay, you go back to party B, you say party A is saying this. Yeah, will you accept this? So party B says no. Tell them that is out of question, but you'll accept this, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's the negotiations I'm talking about. Now, we also know that this scheduled swearing in of the 12th of December was really terrifying the Jubilee government. And so it would seem that what has actually happened is that the Jubilee government has succumbed to pressure. Yes, and given a green light or accepted, yes, one of the conditions or the major conditions that NASA have put on the table. Okay, most probably not all of it, but enough of it for NASA to show some goodwill and postpone the swearing in. Yeah, not cancel it, postpone it. Now, as Raila Odinga himself has said many times, there are many ways to skin a cat. Okay, so if somebody was a go-between and they were trying to negotiate something, and you found that what you're looking for, the other side is now coming to their senses and leaning towards that side, what is wrong with accepting a temporary truce? Yeah, what is wrong with accepting to postpone the swearing in date? Not cancel it, just postpone it. In my view, that's what statesmen do. Yeah, in my view, that is what responsible people who love their supporters, who love their country, would do. However, there's something else called real politics. Yeah, the reality of the ground. The reality of the ground is that a lot of long-suffering Kenyans have really been suffering as a result of what has been unfolding in our country. Yeah, especially financially. And in this suffering, many Kenyans have said, let us suffer now because freedom is around the corner. Yeah, very soon we're going to have a breakthrough in this matter. I am sure NASA High Command are very much aware of this. Yeah, and therefore to come and tell your supporters that we have entered some very serious negotiations and we're on the verge of some breakthrough, and therefore we've decided to postpone the swearing in, would definitely not fly. And so it seems that NASA found another excuse to give. NASA found another reason to give their supporters for the postponement. But it is both interesting and instructive that in the statement to postpone the swearing in, yeah, which was given by Musalia Mudavadi, flanked by the other principal Moses Wetangula and others, including Kivutha Kibwana, Governor from Makueni and others, that statement was very emphatic on the fact that NASA has not abandoned ship, NASA has not abandoned the cause, and it even underlined that either, yeah, we win this cause or we secede. Yeah, there's no third option. Okay, either we have electoral justice in the country. Yeah, we have a system whereby anybody can be elected into the presidency. Yeah, without somebody in Nairobi fiddling with the results, and all our democratic freedoms enshrined in the Constitution back, as well as revisiting the issue of the presidency. Yeah, changing maybe probably to a parliamentary system. Yes, because of course the presidency has not served Kenya well. We keep on saying that in this channel. Yes, and we in the Kumekucha brand started saying this a long time ago. Yeah, hence the penning of one of my best-selling ebooks, Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency. Yeah? If you've not read it, I suggest you make an effort to read it. Yeah? After reading that book, you will be mad, yeah, to support a presidential system in Kenya. My apologies for being so strong in my language, but that's really what it is. And so in my view, this latest development by NASA is actually very good news camouflaged as a setback. Yeah, the whole situation has come out like it's a setback, but actually in my view it is a breakthrough, a major breakthrough for NASA and a major breakthrough for the long-suffering people of Kenya. It means that some very powerful people within the Jubilee High Command have come to their senses, have finally come to their senses, and that should be good news for Kenya. Because really, anything that averts bloodshed, anything that averts violence and the loss of life should be welcomed by any well-meaning Kenyan. That is the truth. However, knowing Jubilee, this is a sort of government that can rescind, can make an agreement today, can commit to something, and then the next day they completely make an about turn. Yeah, that is well known. And this is one more reason why it was not wise for NASA to come out forthrightly and tell people this is what it is. Yes, this is politics. Yeah, and one needs to understand that this is siasa. Now, in the next episode of this series on the postponement of Raila Odinga swearing in, we will look at the spiritual side, because this is also a very significant development as far as the prophecies, the predictions by trusted men of God, and a lot of other people, the kind of predictions they've had on what is going to unfold in Kenya. Yeah, so make sure you catch that. Yeah, the usual drill. Link on your top left hand corner, click on it and you should be there. This is Chris Kumekucha. See you there.